Dear learners, today we are going to study biopharmaceutics classification system in detail. On completion of this lecture, you will be able to explain importance and objectives of BCS, describe key parameters controlling drug absorption, and will be able to explain methodologies for determination of solubility, permeability, and dissolution. BCS was introduced in 1995. It has been used as a regulatory tool for replacement of certain bioequivalence studies with accurate in vitro dissolution test. It reduces timelines in the drug development process, and it also reduces unnecessary drug exposure in healthy volunteers, which is the normal study population in bioequivalence studies. So BCS reduces time of drug development and also reduces unnecessary drug exposure in healthy volunteers. Objectives and concept of BCS. Objectives are to improve the efficiency of drug development and review process by recommending a strategy for identifying expendable clinical bioequivalence tests, to recommend a class of immediate release solid oral dosage form for which bioequivalence may be assessed based on in vitro dissolution test, and to recommend methods for classification according to dosage form dissolution along with the solubility and permeability of the drug product. BCS is a scientific framework for classifying a drug substance based on its solubility and intestinal permeability. So there are four classes: class 1, 2, 3, 4. Class 1 drugs are highly soluble and they are highly permeable. Class 2 drugs are have low solubility but high permeability. Class 3 drugs have again high solubility, low permeability, and class 4 drugs have both low solubility and permeability. This classification system helps in early drug development and then in management of the product through its life cycle. In early drug development, knowledge of the class of a particular drug is an important factor influencing the decision to continue or stop its development. Means the knowledge of BCS will help the researcher to in early stage development to decide whether to continue or to stop its development. Now, key parameters controlling drug absorptions. So, there are three parameters. First is absorption number denoted by AN. It is defined as ratio of mean residence time to mean absorption time. Mean residence time means time for which a particular dosage form reside in the GI system, and to mean absorption time. It denotes the dimensionless dose by solubility ratio for the particular drug formulation. The dose by solubility ratio indicates whether the capacity of the GI fluid is sufficient to dissolve the entire dose administered. Means dose by solubility ratio will indicate whether the GI fluid which is there, it is sufficient to dissolve administered dose or not. The equation is AN is equal to PEF into T res upon R. PEF is effective permeability, T res is residence time, and capital R is intestinal radius. Now next definition is dissolution number, which is denoted by DN. It is defined as ratio of mean residence time to mean dissolution time. So DN is equal to mean residence time upon mean dissolution time. Last is dose number, which is denoted by D0. It is defined as mass or dose divided by product. Product means multiplication of uptake volume and solubility of drug. So D0 is equal to M0. M0 is the dose of that drug divided by CS. CS is a solubility of drug, and V0 is uptake volume. Now we will see the characteristic of drugs in each class. Class 1, the drugs of this class exhibit high absorption number. So AN will be high and high dissolution number. DN will also be high. The rate limiting step is dissolution, and if the dissolution is very rapid, in that case the gastric emptying rate becomes rate determining step. These compounds are well absorbed and their absorption rate is usually higher than their excretion rate. Example is metoprolol, diltiazem, verapamil and propranolol. Class 2 drugs have a high absorption number, AN will be high, but they have low dissolution number. So AN will be high but DN will be low. In vivo drug dissolution is then rate limiting step. So dissolution will be, in vivo dissolution will be rate limiting step for absorption except at very high dose number. The absorption for class 2 drug is usually slower than for class 1. Means absorption for class 2 drug is slower than class 1 drugs and occurs over a longer period of time. The bioavailability of this product is limited by their solvation rates. So bioavailability is limited by solvation rate. Hence, you can correlate in vivo bioavailability and in vitro solvation. Example of class 2 drugs are glibenclamide, phenytoin, danazone, mefenamic acid, nifedipine, ketoprofen, naproxen, carbamazepine and ketoconazole. Class 3 drugs. Drug permeability is the rate limiting step for drug absorption because permeability is low. So permeability is the rate limiting step for absorption, but the drug is solvated very quickly. These drugs exhibit a high variation in rate and extent of absorption. Means here you can observe the variation in rate and extent of absorption. Since the dissolution is rapid, the variation is due to alteration of physiology and membrane permeability rather than dosage form factors. Because dissolution is very rapid, so variation in rate and extent of drug absorption is attributed to alteration of physiology and membrane permeability rather than the dosage form factors. Example, cimetidine, ranitidine, acyclovir, neomycin B, atenolol and captopril. Last, class 4 drug. The drugs of this class are problematic for effective oral administration. These compounds have poor bioavailability. They are usually not well absorbed through the intestinal mucosa and a high variability is expected. Means they are not well absorbed, and if they are absorbed, you can observe high variability in absorption. Class 4 compounds are rarely developed and marketed. Examples, hydrochlorothiazide, Taxol and furosemide. Now BCS class boundaries. So class boundary parameters, solubility, permeability and dissolution are for easy identification and determination of BCS class. So how will you decide the solubility of any drug? A drug substance is considered highly soluble when the highest dose strength of the drug is soluble in 250 ml or less of water over a pH range 1 to 6.8 at 37 degree plus or minus 1 degree centigrade. So the drug is considered highly soluble if its highest dose is soluble in 250 ml of water or less than that at pH 1 to 6.8 at 37 degree plus or minus 1 degree centigrade. Now when you say that drug is highly permeable, so the drug is considered highly permeable when the extent of absorption in human is more than 85% of an administered dose based on mass balance or compared with intravenous reference dose. So the drug substance is considered highly permeable when more than 85% absorption is observed. Dissolution: an IR drug product is considered rapidly dissolving when mean of 85% or more of the labeled amount of drug dissolved within 30 minutes. So rapidly dissolving drugs are those drugs where you can observe that 85% or more than that of label amount of drug dissolving within 30 minutes. Using, if you are using USP apparatus 1, you have to use RPM 100 RPM, and apparatus 2 you have to operate at 50 RPM in a volume 500 ml or less than that. Now how will you determine solubility? So determination of solubility. Solubility is the amount of a substance that has passed into solution. So solubility is amount of drug which is there in the solution when equilibrium is attained. Solubilities are determined by exposing an excess of solid or drug to the liquid. Liquid can be water or any other buffer, and you have to determine after equilibrium is attained. Means you have to measure solubility by exposing excess of drug to a particular vehicle, and you have to assay or determine or evaluate after once the equilibrium is attained. Now generally the equilibrium time is 60 to 72 hours. The pH solubility profile of a drug is determined at 37 degree plus or minus 1 degree centigrade in aqueous medium in the pH range. Now if you are following FDA guideline, then pH range is 1 to 7.5, and if you are following WHO guideline, then you can use pH range from 1.2 to 6.8. So pH solubility profile means effect of pH on solubility of drug you have to determine at 37 degree plus or minus 1 degree centigrade in aqueous medium, and the pH should be within these specified ranges as per the guideline which you are following. A sufficient number of samples should be evaluated to accurately define the pH solubility profile. A minimum of 3 replicates, this is important, 3 replicate solubility determination at each pH condition should be carried out. So at each pH you have to evaluate a minimum of 3 replicate for solubility. Standard buffer which are mentioned in USP to be used, but if you find any problem or if these buffers are not suitable due to some physical or chemical reasons, other buffers can also be used. The concentration of drug substance in selected buffers or pH condition should be determined using validated stability indicating method. Means the solubility of your drug substance in buffer in selected buffer or pH condition should be determined by suitable validated stability indicating assay. Means you have to use stability indicating method for evaluation purpose. Why? Because if any degradation or if any impurity is generating during this process, that can be easily identified, or it can be evaluated using validated stability indicating assay. If degradation of a drug is observed as a function of a buffer composition or pH, it should be taken into consideration. Means when you treat your drug with suitable buffer or at certain pH, it may happen that at that pH or in that particular buffer composition, your drug might get degraded. So that should be kept into mind. Solubility can be measured as either a kinetic or a dynamic value. Now determination of permeability. So permeability, you can it is based directly on extent of intestinal absorption of a drug substance in human, or indirectly on the measurement of the rate of mass transfer across the human intestinal membrane. So permeability is it is based on extent of intestinal absorption of drug substance in human, or indirectly it is based on measurement of rate of mass transfer across the human intestinal membrane. The methods which are routinely used or frequently used for determination of permeability are: number 1, human studies, mass balance pharmacokinetics, absolute bioavailability studies, or intestinal perfusion methods are used. Second is intestinal permeability methods. Now intestinal permeability methods in vivo intestinal perfusion studies in humans can be done, or in vivo or in situ intestinal perfusion studies in animal can be done, or if you are doing in vitro permeation experiment with excised human or animal intestinal tissue can be performed. So if you are doing in vivo, you can either do studies in human or you can do in animal, or if you want to do in vitro, so you can use either excised human tissue or you can use animal tissue to evaluate permeation. Third is in vitro permeation experiments across epithelial cell monolayers can be performed. Now next is determination of dissolution. In vitro drug dissolution is affected by formulation, composition and the manufacturing process. We know that dissolution can be altered by formulation, composition and the type of manufacturing process which we are using. BCS classifies a drug product as rapidly dissolving when not less than or no less than 85% of the labeled amount of the drug substance dissolved in 30 minutes using the following criteria. So when you say that drug is your rapidly dissolving, when 85% or more than that of labeled drug dissolved within 30 minutes. And as we discussed earlier, if you are using USP apparatus 1, that is basket, you have to operate it at 100 rpm, and if you are going for USP apparatus 2, that is pedal 1, you have to operate it at 50 rpm. Now dissolution medium volume can be 500 ml or less, and you can use 3 types of dissolution medium. Number 1, 0.1 normal HCl or simulated gastric fluid USP without enzyme. Number 2, pH 4.5 buffer, and number 3, pH 6.8 buffer or simulated intestinal fluid USP without enzyme. Now similarity factor F2. Now what do you mean by similarity factor? Means when you want to compare dissolution profile of two products, so you want to evaluate whether both profiles are same or not. So that is denoted by similarity factor F2. So if you want to evaluate similarity factor of two products, one is test and another is reference, so this F2 value, the similarity factor value should be greater than 50. Means you can say that you can say that test product and reference product are similar in with respect to dissolution profile only when your F2 factor is greater than 50. So F2 value between 50 and 100 suggests the two dissolution profiles are similar. This is the formula for calculating similarity factor, where RT and TT, R is for reference and capital T is for test. So RT and TT are cumulative percentage dissolved at time point T for reference and test products respectively, and N is number of pool points. So this is all about BCS topic. Thank you for patiently listening. Have a good day.